You. Yeah, I haven't seen you in this kind. This is
I feel okay.
okay.
I've been a little tired.
Mhm. Make sure we're going live here. Okay, we are. Yeah, so let's get this going here. We're going to record on this end, record on computer. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. We're a minute early. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2025. I almost had the 24th written down there. This is GoldFish Report number 1133. It's an interesting number. 1133. This is our weekly food for the soul. Joining me this week again is psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you. D-
Louisa, great to see you. And Barbara, honey, it's nice to see you.
I
As you
was
can
just
tell, we're not in the same room for a change.
right. And also joining us is uh, Mark's co-paranormal investigator and Imagineer, very creative person, a very creative woman. Barbara Nelson, thanks for
Hmm.
joining us, Barb. Right, you're usually together, but you're in separate places. And you know what, Mark, this is what's interesting. Mark is in, do you want me to say where you are? Like generally? Is that
Yeah,
okay? Yeah. So
yeah.
Mark is in the LA area.
I'm in the Los Angeles area.
And Barb is in the North Carolina
North
area,
Carolina.
right where the two main big issues are that we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to sneeze. So, Barb, why don't you start with
Isn't that a coinkydink?
yes.
The two biggest
Yes.
disasters in our country, and we're in both of those states, and we've lived in both of those states.
Yeah,
What's going on?
right now. Yeah. Well, we
Not
know
quite
that
disaster.
Trump, let me just get started by saying,
We
well,
weren't collecting disaster.
we can see that Trump has been very serious. He went right into action, signing more executive orders than I can list today. You can go to the gold to I'm sorry, you can go to the whitehouseblogger.com and you can check out all the postings there. It's not updated yet, but that is another one of our sites. And it is strictly for the president and for whatever his directives are. He's deporting people right now, and they're not happy. There's a lot of people that are very unhappy and hating on him right now. Um, but whatever. He's also passed executive orders regarding, well, the release of the JFK files, the MLK files, and the RFK files. We can see that the driver of the car, what was his name, Greer, has took out a gun and shot him from the front seat of the car. Now, that's why the Zapruder film was cut and there's slides missing. So you can see that I don't know if that's who shot him in the throat, but that's definitely who shot him
Yeah.
in the head. And what was in that was a toxic shell, uh, um,
Yep.
a poison basically. So if the bullet didn't do the job, the toxin itself would have done that. And they switched the brains out before they. I mean, this is very macabre, but this is what's being reported. They switched the brains out before they got back to Bethesda Hospital to hide the fact that there was that poison in there. So also we've got Trump passing executive orders on no central bank digital currency, which is excellent because that would have been a complete total control of that would have been, the beast, right? You can't buy or sell without it. But I'm not saying that's still not to come in some capacity somehow, but at least that's out of the picture. We also have him make passing executive orders on the crypto regulation, new currencies. A lot of new things are happening. It is just really kind of like in record time. He was visiting North Carolina residents, trying to help them. He was superseding FEMA, put an executive order in to speed up and help these people get housing over in Asheville, North Carolina, and that whole vicinity that was affected and devastated. And then, of course, in California as well. Taking a look at this, and the comments that he has made publicly have been very revealing, talking about it was hit with something. So, talking about California. So, was he referring to directed energy weapons, which many people suspect? We don't know. But a lot of blue things didn't burn. So, we can kind of,
Right.
You have when you have evidence, right? You can either gaslight people or you can tell the truth. Now they're not going to tell the truth, so they're going to gaslight people and they're going to, oh, that was already there, whatever. So, Mark, you're right out there. Can you give us an idea of how things look right now in the Los Angeles area?
Well, it's funny. I'm in the San Fernando west end of the San Fernando Valley. Currently, there's no wind. Yesterday, we had high winds, caught a couple of areas that feed into the valley on fire. The previous day, we it was a fire up in the Sepulveda Pass, but that smoke was literally making the air yellow around here. It was yellow, smoky. The sky was golden, and it just normally you think there's a strong breeze, you don't think about it. Here, it can be quite dangerous. Not far from where my mom and brother live, there was a arsonist that was captured. He had a blowtorch in his hand, and they caught him and stopped him. So anyone who just thinks these things spontaneously begin, I think, is lying to themselves. And so I know that it's possible for things to catch and burn even before the population in this area was it was a fraction 100 years ago. They would have significant fires. But now there are people with an axe to grind. Many don't want to be evacuated. I do think that among the many people that came into our country, there's a good number of them that came into the United States with hostile intent. So, and to set a fire in this area, one thing I can tell you too, just walking around this area, everything is so dry. My skin feels extremely dried out. My fingertips feel dried out. So if I'm experiencing that level of dryness immediately, um, it's really unusual, strange. And I also have to wonder, is the area being made more dry um,
On
through an
purpose.
artificial means,
Mhm.
or is it just this well, I mean, in terms of being on purpose, certainly um, the situation with virtually no humidity, a weapon or an attack would have even more material energy to work with. There's nothing in the way of moisture to make it go away. That said, I saw what looked like chemtrails today, and then the next 2 days we're
Oh,
supposed to get rain. So someone must have thought, all right, we've had enough fun with Los Angeles County. Let's see what else. Let's turn it down a notch. I don't know how to explain it other than that.
Hmm. It's very dry, huh? Yeah, it's
And
almost
it
as
is
if,
interesting that the rain begins.
tomorrow, right?
Well, Trump shows up, and then we're supposed to have the first rain in months. So that's peculiar. I'm not pinning that on him, but
mm,
who's ever capable of making this make it the rainmakers, we'll call them, how they can do that on a dime. I think that we've all talked about it. We have our own ideas, but that's where we are, and I'm glad to I've enjoyed my stay, and I'm looking forward to going home.
yeah, okay. Well, thanks for that. Yeah, it does seem like, look, I mean, of all people, Trump would have access to a lot of technology that could help California right now through his association with, well, through his uncle and his association with the Tesla papers and all the Tesla files. And it's very, I mean, aside from that, we
Hmm.
have been cloud seeding for a long time. I mean, look at Saudi Arabia has now admitted to have been cloud seeding, and of course, they went a little too far. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so they've got, green, lush foliage, growing in the desert now. So, but hey, that was prophesized in the Bible too. So, but yeah, I mean, why can't like on day one they start the cloud seeding? I mean, I don't understand, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, in that regard, so I don't know. But I'm glad that you're doing okay though. Let me just check in with the live chat. Hopefully we've got, yeah, it'd be a busy night for people. I don't see anybody
I'm
there.
able to take questions today. If anyone wants.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for
Okay.
someone to ask a question. That's no problem. It's just we started a little early, so I'm just waiting for people to come in. So while we're still waiting, um, you mentioned a couple of things, Mark, regarding Trump. Would you like to share that with our viewers?
Sure. My sense is when I looked at Trump, I see what appears to be a dome over him. It's almost like there is a protective shield at this time. The other thing I'm being told is that shield could be removed by the powers that would like to take him down. So it feels like that this is a pause in the attacks on him. I can't say how long they'll last, but I also got the sense that right outside of his protective dome, where he is, and I'm thinking it's like to me it represents intention of people around or near him, but I do feel like that there will be other attacks. Unfortunately, I think that some of these attacks will hurt or harm people who go to see him or work with him. So please be open. If you're in an environment where you are going to see Trump or he's in a vicinity, just keep your head in a swivel because I felt like there would be attacks around the time of the inauguration. They actually moved the inauguration indoors, and they said for the purposes of protecting people from inclement weather. But I have to believe that there was other motivations.
Hmm.
They don't have to share, and so I tend to think that there is there are going to be more attacks on him. The Iranians cannot be very happy. He came out immediately and said, "We cannot allow Iran to have nuclear weapons." What will the fallout be? That be? Well, it's interesting. We don't know how many Iranians are in the United States at this point, with again the intention of doing harm. I don't know. But my sense is we're going to see some unfortunate events. So that's what I'm seeing. But I feel like he will personally be
Hmm.
saved. But I saw fire and a bomb not far from him.
Are you seeing like
Excuse me.
Washington, D.C. and like the D.C. area? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it'll be the DC area. It feels like that I saw scorching. So I also feel like too that the intention is to make the area somewhat unlivable or unlivable altogether. So
Mhm.
I have great fears now. My caveat is that this could be my personal sense of fear or worry for him and the country. But I do see this scorching and that it does impact people near him. Um, the Secret Service, under its new direction and authority, can do a better job to protect him. But the people who are nearby and fall just outside of that protection could very much be at risk.
Mhm. Uh,
Wow.
so
And I hate to say that, I don't want it to be true.
right. No, you're just being honest. I mean, look, that's all we can ask, right? I mean, whatever messages you get, and but Mark, there's definitely an advantage to you sharing this information because we did, direct it to we put it in the right direction, and I think that's why it ended up being indoors. So
Mhm.
I think we definitely had an impact in that. We
Well,
had a reverse speech analyst confirm
well, I
the
know
same
you have great
information
connections, and
after after your prediction. Then we had a reverse speech analyst and we had a remote viewer who all confirmed that seeing the same event.
mhm,
So that event apparently, at least thus far, has been thwarted thanks to, I think,
mhm,
many people's intervention. So it is important, even if it's scary news, it's important to put it out there because if we don't know it, we can't cooperate and then we can't act on it and have an opportunity to
mhm.
thwart it, to block that from coming to fruition. So, um, Barb, did you want to make a comment? Well, actually,
Well,
before
let
we
me
go,
throw in two things.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
Uh,
Just real quickly, when I see a reading, I see something play out. The idea is that if all things remain the same, this is the likely outcome. Also, too, in quantum mechanics, there is a principle that by observing something, you can change it. So please hold those two thoughts, and I'll shut up and let somebody else talk.
Well, we have a question from a viewer. This is James. Uh, he wants to know if he has any
Okay.
messages on the com in the coming for the coming months. His name is James McMillan.
Hi, James.
James
Well,
McMillan. Yeah.
what I see for him
Mhm.
is that I got him. Okay, James, I'm supposed to tell you that keep your head up and looking. For some reason, I don't think this is directly a threat would be pointed at you, but I see this visual of you holding up like a shield, one way or another, to kind of protect yourself from things happening above your head. So to me, this can be a metaphor. It feels more like that when you're out and about, pay attention to your surroundings, and it appears to be that you're looking up. As for the state of the country, I feel like there's a great deal of optimism, but I also feel like that there will be external forces acting upon us that will cause uh, mean, everything they want to do is tie him up. Right now, he's had a free hand, and look at everything he's done, and nothing flat. So I tend to think that the economy will have ups and downs. He is planning some very logical things. Feels like that when these steps and measures he's planning to implement are put in place and begin to work, we'll see the economy being a little more under control. But I just get the sense that there will be external forces that may not want to collaborate with Trump's vision for the country, for economics. So be aware of that. And uh, that, I mean, James, that's what I'm seeing for the moment. I do feel like personally you're safe, but I just see you looking up and needing to be conscious of like, also, do this has to do with like work? Are there factors above and beyond me that I need to be aware of that could impact how I make a living? Be conscious of that, please.
Can I thank you for that? And James, I hope you were able to hear that. Just kind of going further with some of the comments you just made. Do you see Trump? He just passed all of this crypto. Do you see how soon do you see this coming to fruition? All the well, he's passing
I think
regulation.
it's
Yeah, sorry, it's a little delay. Sorry, there's a little delay on our Wi-Fi.
my sense is that there will, when I hear crypto, I think it's like a just a couple of months, 2 months before some of these new regulations or deregulation um, begins to be put into action place. So I'm seeing maybe 60 days, and then we'll start to see some um, positive changes for crypto for anyone holding on to the value. Okay, I think in the long run, crypto will continue to grow. I mean, I know there's a lot of people saying that, but I just feel like that our economy is going to do some, have to take on some hits, some deliberate actions against us. It feels like it would be certainly digital attacks or like cyber attacks,
Okay.
and then it gets rectified later in the year.
What about the stock market crash or the correction, as some would refer to it? Do you see that as part of this anytime soon? Part of our reality anytime soon?
Yeah, I think that the market's going to react to some of the. Um, I feel like that there's going to be fear mongering regarding tariffs. I feel like that the tariffs will ultimately be a positive effect in that they protect American jobs, the American dollar. But I do feel like that the adjustment probably comes middle of the year as opposed to the end, uh, June, July. So
Mm.
it feels like we see some very positive moves, and then people who are against the United States will put their own plans into action, which will then have a detrimental effect on our economy.
Okay. Let's see. The Do you see a new US dollar being issued or distributed? and going into circulation. There's a rumor about these rainbow currencies,
I don't
so
think that,
mm,
if you mean, I do think that we're not going to the digital dollar, if that's what you mean. Um, I don't see
no.
that occurring. I feel like that there's going to be an effort to thwart counterfeiting,
Hmm.
and so that would also happen, but I don't see that happening until later in the year, October.
Okay. What about Blue Beam? Is that going to be, do you see them trying to utilize that? I think we're, because the drones are still out, so they've come back.
Mhm.
And, Trump said he was going to, I don't know why you can't just tell the people he says about Biden, why he wouldn't tell them, but he hasn't mentioned it. He's been kind of quiet about it. Um, are they sniffing for radioactive material, or is that why they're still back, or are we getting ready for a blue beam or some sort of other kind of what about a paranormal experience? Are we in line for any of that?
I think I think that there's going to be still, I would put this in the category of fear mongering, fear. Barbara knows probably more about this than I do. I'll give her a chance, as you do. But my sense is that they collected this information for a purpose. They've had the drones out to create an awareness of how we react to things. Now
Mm,
they're going to try different things. My sense is that there's still a rogue element within our government that is using drones and the fear that they generate to further their interests. Um, I feel like that it's there could be some more realistic attacks. I mean, it just feels
mm,
like that. Barb, have you seen anything? And Barbara's got her eyes on
mm.
this quite a bit too.
Yeah, Barb, let's hear what you got.
From a spiritual point of view,
Paranormal. I mean, is there anything,
paranormal.
yeah, I mean, has there been any kind of
Well,
uptick in,
I've been actually saying prayers. I usually pray before I go to bed, but I'm feeling that the powers that be have released negative entities around us because
Mhm.
just in my own experience, like the other night, I just felt like things swirling around, like just they've released evil energy and and so I prayed and it went away and I was okay to go to sleep and but I think that there's going to be more and more of these negative energies around us and the whole idea is to create fear to because they feed off that the in the spiritual realm they feed off your
Mm,
fear or negative energy. So just be aware of that and say some prayers. Um, but I just wanted to talk about North Carolina for a minute because Trump went there. It was wonderful, and it was really cool because he had about he went to the hardest hit area, which was Swannanoa, which I know about because my one of my friends lives in Black
mm,
Mountain, which is near Swannanoa. Black Mountain got hit too.
mm-hmm,
They're both like a little bit east of Asheville, and so he took like there must have been, I don't know, 7 families, husband and wife, children. And he had them come up to the mic and they each told their story of what happened. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Like getting stuck in your house and hearing the water because it came up really fast.
mm,
And you had seconds to think of what do I do, you
mm-hmm,
know?
mm-hmm,
And so I thought that was really compassionate of him to do that because you would never, ever see Joe Biden. I mean, he probably couldn't even understand what they were saying, but I just felt like as a president,
Hmm.
that was a really compassionate thing to let people come up and just describe what they had been through. Because, you know, you can read about it, but to hear
Hmm.
it right from the people that went through it.
Hmm.
And so he's definitely committing, I think it's something like $20 billion or something. And you know how he got, you know where that money's coming from? It was the money they were going to use to pay for all the illegals that have come into North Carolina through.
Oh, hell yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
shifting the money to the people, Americans that need it. And
What
so
a novel idea. Oh my God. Can you imagine? What a great idea that is.
yeah,
Ugh.
and oh,
Take care of Americans for a
he
change, huh?
I just read that he's taking some money from Joe Biden's slush fund for the Green New Deal, and he's going to have projects like infrastructure projects. He's going to help to rebuild our country. So it's like,
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
uh, if the money were, if there, it was like, okay, this was the greatest transfer of wealth, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, that wealth from the American middle class is coming back. So it was the
Mm.
greatest heist
It
of.
was a heist, wasn't it?
And so
Mm.
it's just nice to see. I love the people of North Carolina, especially Western. Appalachia is just, the people there are so wonderful. And I hate that, they get this reputation of being uneducated and, you know, uh, whatever. But when you meet them and you learn the community and stuff like that, they're great people. They're soul of the earth.
Yeah.
And they've been existing on their own without government help. In fact, they're kind of like, oh, okay, we're getting government help now because we haven't for the past 3 months. We haven't gotten anything.
Mm.
So
They're hardy people. Yeah.
they're wonderful, wonderful people, and I just want to put that out there, coming from our perspective of
Hmm.
coming from Los Angeles to North Carolina.
It's
And,
quite a contrast.
oh, it's a total contrast.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nice people are nice people.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
That's wonderful. We have a couple of questions I like to try to get to before we switch over to Facebook. So let me see if I can get that in there. We have DJ. He says he has a possible big business opportunity and was wondering if Mark can see any possible outcomes for him. This is for DJ.
Oh, DJ. Um, DJ, I feel like um, I would act swiftly. It feels like it comes to you. I'm hearing measure twice, cut once. To me, this feels like the devil is in the details. I don't think that you're being misled, but it's very important that for you to be able to handle the project, that you're very careful about their specific needs. Get into the details, but I say yes, high five, go for it. It works, and that also too, you're the right guy for this. Go for it.
Oh, that's a great message. And I want to say hi, Amanda. I see you there. Nice to see you this week again. Thank you for coming by. We have Saurabh, uh, Saurabh Gupta. He says, is there any message for him? Will things get better for him?
Um, Zara, I want to ask you to be a little bit cautious with your money. I just feel like that you're going to be looking in your pockets to make sure that you have what you need. But I'm supposed to tell you, it's like, I see, be a little bit cautious. Don't spend a lot right now. Wait. But I do think that things improve. I want to ask you to like swing. Oh, being told us, here as I say it, swing for the fences. Think big. Be prepared to act. But I think that swing for the fences. Don't just, it's an initial things being tight. Um, Take your best swing, and then I feel like that you can succeed here. I feel like that the only other thing too is be very conscious of respiratory health. It feels like that could slow you down a little bit in terms of your energy too. be conscious of. I'm going to remain positive, even if I have a little bit of a health issue. I'm going to get past it and sit, and then I will succeed because I
Mhm.
saw the other side of this trouble or this short-term difficulty.
Mhm.
It becomes better. It'll get better. You'll be glad that you gave it the effort.
Good. Okay, we also have, thank you for that, Mark. We also have Billy. He wanted to know Billy Diamonds, and he wanted to know if there was any, how will his finances be? Was wondering if you can see anything regarding his finances.
Billy, I get this visual. It's like you're putting your money and locking it in place. So I gotta say that I'm not trying to give everybody the same message, but the same factors in our society are going to impact us in the shorter term, and then we'll get better in the longer term. I saw you. You know what, for you, Billy, make sure that you've got your money kind of secured. I saw you putting money into trays and locking it. So be prepared for. I know everyone is optimistic. I'm optimistic, but there could be some temporary shortfalls that could impact your ability to um, stay in business. So look for that. Okay. Short term hold, then long term step on the gas.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Um, Sarah, just because I remember you from last time, and I hope you rewatch that video when you asked Mark for some advice because I think it sounds somewhat familiar. So I'm not sure if there's a theme here, but whatever. Just wanted to point that out. Amanda, she wants to know, this is Amanda Kennedy, and she would like to know if you see some financial aid coming for Americans soon.
It's so funny, Amanda. I saw a person who had been knocked down getting lifted up. I feel like that even before you spoke, I wasn't sure if this is directly related to you, but I see help coming for people who have been knocked down. This applies very directly to North Carolina and to Los Angeles, where there's going to be, Los Angeles is going to require something of a Marshall Plan in order to overcome, as will North Carolina. So what I see is that increased tax revenue from federal government doesn't mean they're taking it out of our pockets, but I think that there's what I'm being told to tell you is that it's not about we don't have money, but we've applied it to what many of us would consider to be the wrong. Um, we were putting the money in the wrong places. That's going
Right.
to change. So it isn't like a miracle of money showing up that wasn't there. The money was allocated for other priorities that Americans don't agree with, as the election indicated. So yes, but I love the fact that you asked that as I'm seeing somebody get lifted up off the ground. So yes, it's coming. Hang in there.
Now, Trump is also um, promising to get rid of the IRS. So what do you see that coming to fruition? I mean, we're all going to be filing our taxes this year, I guess. So
Um,
probably not this soon, but
Extension.
yeah, extension. I like Barb.
well,
There you
yeah,
go.
extension, Barb. I think that the way the IRS is currently set up is going to change. Feels like he's going to be saying we need to simplify this. So the idea that he isn't just going to do an executive order and have no one there to have no apparatus in place. This is going to take a couple of years, but I think very much so within 3 years he's going to have a different way to manage to encourage growth as opposed to penalizing people who succeed. So that I do think is going to come. It's going to be another structure. The
Mhm.
IRS, as we know it, I think is going to cease to exist within 3 years, but it will be replaced by another revenue and taxation system for the United States. And again, I'm hearing the word priorities. The priorities are going to change. It'll be more about fomenting, supporting growth, individuals, the little people more, and that it's coming, and it will be less. There'll be fewer restrictions on it.
Okay, we're going to go. Let me see if I typed that right. Hold on a second. We're going to go over to Facebook now, everyone. So I don't know. We're trying to feel this out to see if we should do it every other week, Facebook, every other week, YouTube. I might do it that way because switching is
Not
I
good.
don't I don't really like the idea of switching. We can, but I don't really like that idea. So let me just see if I have this right. Facebook.com/the Goldfish Report. Hello, you're late. Yes, you are late. I don't know your name. But we're going over to Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, please click on the link here. Stay here. No, I've got to go. We've got to go over there. Oh, you don't have a Facebook. Do you have a name and a question or anything for Mark before we leave? Stay on YouTube. They don't want us to leave. Well,
Stay.
yeah,
Don't
I know,
go.
right? I know. I feel bad. So, oh, Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Mark, Barb, it's up to you guys. It could, because of your time. I mean, my time, I could always push it, but I know Mark is probably got jet lag too, Mark, because it is definitely a difference in time zones where you are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, John Smith.
What do you
Hey,
think,
John.
Jenny?
Yeah, I'm bumping into the walls a little bit. Okay,
Yeah,
let's go
well,
to Facebook.
okay, so why don't
Sorry,
you follow us over, guys?
let's
Here's the
try it.
link.
And
hmm Goldfish Report. Okay, so here's the link, guys. Click on that link, and you'll go right over to our Facebook page. Give us a minute to switch channels, but we'll be there, shortly. So thanks everyone who's joined us tonight. Please give this a thumbs up so we can get more circulation on the video. Share it with your friends. Joanne, can you go to Facebook, Joanne? That's a very heavy question. I hate to leave on this one. She wanted to know about how her brother passed. Her name's Joanne. Um, that's definitely a, you know.
right,
Hi,
let me
Barb
look
and
at this
Mark.
quickly.
Okay.
One thing I see with Joanne, I see the brother. It's like someone is concealing this. I feel like he steps into a closet or a door. The door is closed. Um, it feels like that he was put in a position where he could not breathe or succeed. Feels like he was put in a position where um, someone did this to him. It feels purposeful. It feels like that um, there's like a lack of oxygen. I get this door closed, trouble breathing, passing out, losing consciousness. But it appears that someone put him in a place could not um, escape. Yeah, they put him in a hard, bad place. And as a result, that was the cause of his death. But there was a definitely something feels hidden about it, covered up about it. It's not your imagination. Something was covered up. I feel like the body was found, but it feels like there was this opaqueness covering. So I'm sorry for this. It's confusing. Your brother says, um, I'm okay now. I'm okay now. He points to his throat like there was either like choking or asphyxiation. I keep getting that. So um, I don't know if that makes sense for you. Let us know if you like. But he tells me that I didn't have to suffer too long. It was being held back that was more fearful than the passing.
Whoa. Whoa. That's, not really, we don't get that every day. I'll tell you. Sorry about that.
No,
Yeah, Joanne, very sorry about that there. And we're not going to be on Facebook very long. John does not have John Smith here. He does not have Facebook, but he's here in our chat. So he wanted to know if there was a message from anyone in spirit.
all right, one last question for John. Okay, anyone from In Spirit? John. Um,
This is John Smith.
I'm hearing a woman's name like M. Okay, John Smith, if that's his real name. I hear an M A, female. Margaret, Madeline, M A name, M A. She says, I'm stepping forward for you. Um, I feel like that this feels like, if not a mother, a older female above him, um, ruffling his hair in a way that someone would appreciate. Like, just it feels like a little loving moment. Um, Stroking his hair, messing with him like you would mess up the hair of a child. Um, Madeline, or M.A., Margaret Madeline, something along those lines. She says that I that if John wasn't there, it's okay. When she passed, she didn't mind. He knows, she knows that there was. It's got to feel like a family member, John. So please think about that. It feels like a family member, female above you, passed, couldn't quite get there for her. There's no harm, no foul in that. Okay.
Um, Joanne said that her brother was at a drive-through, ordered his food, pulled up to the window, and was dead by the time he got to the window to pay. Whew. Oh boy.
There was
That's
something. Um, like he lost his ability to breathe. He was suffocated. There was
mm,
something to do with the respiratory tract, and there was definitely something covered up about it. It feels like cover up, closed. He wasn't. It's just not a heart attack. It feels like there was either like a poison or like something, but it feels like it was his ability to breathe. He felt like he couldn't do it. So I don't know if the toxicology report represented, but my sense is that there was either it feels like a poisoning. It wasn't just a natural event.
he they
Sorry
said
for
that
that. I hope I'm not just
he-
really dramatic.
no, they wouldn't do an autopsy. She didn't know how he died. They said she said his lips were blue. Yeah, and John is saying his dad's name starts with an M, and he wasn't there at the time of his passing. So, um, yeah, I guess why
Okay.
don't we? I don't know. We're gonna get over to Facebook or not, but they refuse to investigate. So it sounds very
All right.
consistent
Well, if
with
you
what
want to
Mark
keep
is
going
saying,
here,
huh? We could keep going. Is that what you want, Mark?
if you want to stay here, we can. That's
We'll
fine.
we'll stay. We'll stay. We'll
If you want to
stay.
let the people know on Facebook know to come over to us, and for,
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe we'll
but the
just
blue lips
alternate.
to me indicates asphyxiation.
Yeah, right. Sinus. Why don't we do every other week? I mean, it just makes more sense. This way we don't have to interrupt people. All right? We'll do one
Okay,
week on YouTube, the next week on Facebook, the next week, we'll
perfect.
just alternate. That's what we're going to do. And I'll just put the notice in. I'll just put the notice in. So everyone
And
who's
let's see how
listening
people.
tonight, what's that? Did you say something, Mark?
I
Let
would say let this is a good way to do a test, an apples to apples.
Yeah.
We'll see where most people find us.
Okay. We will, all right. Food for the soul. Barb, if you have something you wanted to talk about, you certainly welcome to have the floor. Or Mark, if you have any other predictions, maybe if you have any, I don't know if you may
I
have any. Oh, go ahead, Barb.
I had an interesting thing I just read on live television. Trump stated about the LA fires. He said something hit LA and caused the fires. It looks
Yeah.
like I don't know what to say, what it looks like. We won't talk about what hit it. It is a bad situation. So he knows.
He knows. Yeah.
DEW. He knows. And that goes
Okay.
for Maui and or
I also heard that
Lahaina.
Mm. Mark, did you?
I get this visual to a burnt rays, like burnt river, like a burning river, and it almost feels like that could be like a kind of a somewhat amorphous energy source beam. It's not like a very deliberate. It feels a little less refined than what we see in the movies. And there's a
Mm,
laser, beep. Now it feels like that. It's a little bit.
mm.
It's the energy field is. It's very focused, and it
Right,
makes me
right.
think that there is. I heard burning river, and that river can be going through the sky because it of the way it moves a little bit.
Hmm.
So it's a visual interpretation. But my sense is that these fires are there are too many coincidences or unanswered questions or inconsistencies with what we see in other fires. And also, too,
Hmm.
we appear to be on a streak, pardon the reference, of these rather abnormal fires that have hit pretty important, if not valuable, real estate.
Hmm.
And then all of these strange attributes connected with the burn, things burning from the inside out. That's not how a
Right.
normal
Mm.
fire would go, I would think.
Right.
Barbara, or both of you guys know more about that, but what I see is that this is
Well,
not, it's, you know what it is too? It's not one thing, it's three things that seem to be contributing. So, man made,
right.
attack, and conditions.
And throw in illegals with the blowtorches going around starting fires to make it look like it was arson.
Yeah,
Right. Some
And
of
they
it could have been
really,
arson, but that's not the majority. That's not what's burning homes in their footprints. These
no.
homes are absolutely burned in their footprints, while the
Right,
trees,
right.
right.
most of the trees are still green. Now, let me just share the website real quick. We'll share it again before we end the report tonight. But this is if you want a personal message, a personal reading. Um, with Mark. This is his website. This is where you would go. It's marknelsonmedium.com. This is where you could go to book an appointment. And there's other, you could even give it as a gift to somebody. I used to do that. I used to do that with a friend. I would always give them a reading as a gift. Um, and they were always very grateful for that. It's a really very personal, very lovely gift to give somebody if you know that they're comfortable with that kind of thing. You know, not everybody is. But I'll share this again before we sign off tonight. I also wanted to see now the drones were back, and I just got a text message from someone who was just driving in this area saying that there's a lot of things moving in the sky tonight over in this area. And last night there was a very large orb. It's kind of quite interesting. I mean, maybe I can show it to you. Let me see. Six of them. They said they saw about six of them. So,
Wow.
yeah, let me just show the picture of what
Wow.
what what happened here last night or around here last night. I will show that to you really quick as soon as I can scroll up and get it, or scroll down and get it. I hate the scrolling, but there's really not much we can do about that on that's the way the platform is, so we can't really do that much about that. It should be here. Oh my God, they're mad as heck that they're being sent back. These people are just screaming. Where did it go? Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, unfortunately, this JFK files are, very compelling, actually. Okay, I had known that too. I had seen this video years ago of
The guy
the
in the car
driver turning around and shooting him. I had
shooting
seen
him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised. And it says that a certain nation, was behind this. I don't know if I should mention that name, but there was actually a royal behind it, that from the information I had gotten. Yeah, where is
Wow.
this? Okay, so I mean, it was here. Maybe I ended up not reposting it. I don't know. I thought I was going to have it. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, it's terrible things. Yeah, I guess I didn't repost it. I was com very busy with the
Distracted.
time. Yeah, I was distracted. So I didn't get this. I'm sorry about that. All right. Yeah, so it was like an orb that was glowing, 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 and then um it turned into like a drone. So it really
Ooh,
shape shifts. Yeah. I mean, you could definitely tell that it took more of an airplane type um form
right.
uh through towards the end of the video that was captured. Um but it was a ball of glowing light. I mean, you can't mistake that from,
Right.
mhm.
From a star. Like,
Right. I'm going to ask Mark about this here. This is, I don't know if I should ask you this, but what the heck? If you can't answer it, you can't don't answer it then. But this is the U.S. Federal Reserve will own XRP. So what Trump is doing is he's stockpiling. He's going to put digital currencies in our stockpile, I guess, reserve. This is the idea. The idea is that when XRP particularly, and that's a bridge currency, that means that um, no matter which country you're in, if you want to send money to somebody to another country, you send it on the Ripple system, the decentralized ledger, which is the blockchain. That's the new financial system that's coming in. You'll send it in USD. It will be sent in that equivalent amount in XRP. XRP can go anywhere in the world, and then you can, in your exchange, we receive it, or however you receive it, in your wallet or whatever. It's going to be a digital wallet. Then you can convert it to your local currency. So this was initially intended to be an institutional um, a digital currency. So it will be backed by gold. So it will have a stable price, a fixed price. There will not be this volatility that we're seeing today. This bridge currency, that's why it's called a bridge currency. It will bridge all currencies together. And it was really meant for institutional purposes. So it was meant for, which is why it's backed by gold. It was meant for, let's say, central banks or IMF or, you know, big amounts of money being transferred. So that's why the value of it was always supposed to be very high, whereas the money for the people was supposed to be more XLM. The XLM is the another digital currency, which is backed by ISO 222. These are new regulations, so this is all part of what Trump is talking about. And this was for the people, but it's backed by silver. So if you and I in the same country wanted to send money to each other, we would just send XLM to each other. Now, my question for Mark is there any, so it's really going to replace the SWIFT system, which is what had always been used in order to transfer money.
Hmm.
There's some people saying it's going to be, so it's inherent that the price of XRP is going to be very high because it is for institutions. So institutions aren't dealing with ones, five, tens, twenties, or $100 bills here. You know what I mean? They're dealing with transactions in the hundreds of thousands, millions,
Yes.
billions. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it has to inherently be of a larger. Do you have a reading on
Yes.
that? Do you? Yeah.
My sense is that we are looking at a change that's going to occur. It feels like it's going to occur. They are not finished with the negotiating the details of it, but it feels like that. I feel like it's going to not this year, but it looks like next year. Part of what's coming too is that they need to help people understand that this is not going to take money away. So, in fact, it may take 18 months or more. It feels like it's going to be useful, but it's going to take a lot of pre selling and a lot of explanation because the fear of a change,
Mm-hmm.
if it's not handled properly, could damage the entire economy because people are going to be wondering, why are you replacing this? We're doing okay. Who's behind this? So there's going to be a great deal of um, selling that has to occur before this takes place. As we all know, perception lags reality in most cases, and certainly, like in this, the reality is it may be a much stronger, more secure system, but the perception is it is replacing something that theoretically is working. So my sense is
Mm-hmm.
be patient with this, but it's coming. That's how I
Yeah.
see it.
The reason I'm saying this is because what happens if Trump takes all of the XRP in escrow for the U.S. Treasury, which is current value at $200 billion, then slowly drives up the value of XRP to like $500. The total U.S. national debt of 34 trillion will be canceled. And I think that is Trump's goal, is to can't use this new innovation, the new financial system, the new uh, digital currency um, in order to pay off our debt, our national debt. And I think he's going to do it. So
That's
that's
great.
I think he's
Well, I
going to do
think that
it.
he has a number of instruments. I'm sorry, Barb, go ahead.
No, I just said that would be great. Great idea.
Well, I do think it's one of the instruments that's being considered, and it needs to be. Um, again, people need to have it. You need to explain it to like eighth graders and also to CEOs. So it's going to require a lot of lift. Also, too, I'm hearing that this may be something that comes about in stages. I don't know if that's possible, but it feels like it needs to be run in certain
Mhm.
steps
Mhm.
in order to be accepted. But I think that if it's not handled properly, it could create a great deal of turmoil. Also, too, we have to be aware that our enemies, people who have a financial interest in seeing us flounder, are going to do their part to ensure that there's a great deal of fear associated with this change. Does anybody remember
Mhm.
the all of the fear associated at the turn of the century, where everyone was thinking, "Oh, the whole world's going to end because we're adding another zero to." It's going to go from 1999 to 2000.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
The
Y2K, the
Y2K
Y2K, yeah.
fears.
Oh, that was
Well, somehow
horrible.
we came out on the other side of it. And we're all not living in caves,
Right, right, right,
burning
right.
rubbish. So that kind of
Quite
that's
right.
what I'm thinking.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, and I think that the whole idea is so it can be very foreign to people. Because Bitcoin started out and it's not backed by anything, and rumor has it that it's really been used for, trafficking and also for laundering. But it was BTC is the call to the tag for it, which really stands for beta test currency. So it was a beta test. And it wasn't backed by anything. And so that's why it's not going to, it has to be completely repurposed. And, if it's going to survive, I don't think it will. I think when the stock market crashes, everything will be corrected. If these coins, there's new banking regulations, and this is part of it. So if they don't meet, even banks right now, banks have something called a Basel III and a Basel IV requirements. We had fractional reserve spending, right? So what we had was banks only had to have 10% of the money in capital that they loaned out. So this is also another problem, is that we are supposed any banks that have been making profit on our mortgages should, from what I'm seeing, Trump is talking about, is that should be, or I don't know, some other policy areas of people, that should be illegal. Of course, it's usury, right? But it should be illegal for making profit on it. Um, the issue with that, and the reason why I would bring it up, is because, well, it goes back to the regulation. So now banks have to have what's Basel III regulation. Banks have to have at least 20 to 30% of capital that they can loan out, because you can't loan out and charge interest on money that you don't even have. The fiat money that just was basically, zeros on a
Right.
screen. They didn't have that money that they were lending out.
Yeah.
They made a tremendous amount of profit on it, and
Right.
so like, who can do that in business? It's like, oh, I have 25% of a car that I can sell you, but I don't have the other 75% of the car, but you still have to pay the full price for it. And I
Yeah.
don't know how you're going to get the rest of it. Somehow you're going to get the rest of it. Yeah, I mean, like, that's such a shyster move. You know what I mean? So because of these banking
yeah.
banking regulations, there are going to be a lot of changes. Go ahead. Mark, did you have a comment?
No, no, I was listening. I was
Okay.
listening.
We also have,
No, I mean, um, I do feel like. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So this was, let me see. I have to go back. Joanne was saying, hi, Mark and Barb, something about the orbs. Yeah. So well, I think we already talked about the orbs today, though. The orbs that are back and everything. They're monitoring things. I'm not afraid of them. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't know why anybody in New Jersey or would be afraid of these orbs. I mean, there was actually somebody that looked scared. I'm like, really? It's like if people didn't notice it, you wouldn't even notice it. I mean, is it bothering you? Is it, zipping your house? Is it cutting out your electricity? All right. Some of these things, like these orbs, have a very strong electromagnetic um, electromagnetism, and so for whatever reason, it's so strong that it does interfere with certain things like electronics and whatever. Um, But we do have this technology. I mean, do you see any breakthroughs in terms of this advanced technology, like all this technology that's been hidden that that we have had? What about zero point energy? Do you see anything, Mark, regarding new energy sources?
Well, can I throw this? Barbara seems to know quite a bit about this little corner of the world. I'll give you. I need to do a little quick look. But Barb, was there something that you wanted to discuss with that?
Oh, I heard uh, something the other day about uh, magnets or magnetism being used as a source. Maybe it's with the drones. Something about
Mm.
uh, magnetics, they thought, to be able to do the
Electromagnetic,
well, but
anti-gravity propulsion?
right,
Yeah.
it's magnetics. That's what I heard.
Mm,
And I who was it that told us, Mark? Was it that Dr. Searle? He said magnetics was the least studied science of all
mm,
the different power sources. And I don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like
Perpetual energy.
it doesn't heat
mm,
up. It's continuous until you stop it. It's a continuous source of energy.
mm,
It's that's isn't that what Tesla was kind of experimenting with or something? I don't know. But anyway, that was my take on like these orbs in the sky, and drones and
mm,
stuff. Um, I think that's the technology that they're using, um, that we know about, that we've,
mm.
reverse engineered or we know of it. So, but not sharing it with, everybody else.
Well,
Because you could run your cities on
mm,
magnetics for power. You could
mhm.
run your cars on magnetics.
Well,
And
we're
it's
at the top of
not
the hour. So I wanted
hot.
to
Okay.
see if,
Anyway, that's my take.
yeah, we are. Well, thank you, Barb. No, that's great. And I think you're right. And it does have to do with Tesla because he did deal with zero point energy, which harnesses the energy from the ether, the environment. This is what
Right.
Tesla did.
All
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah. And it's called radiant, or no, it's called uh, scale, could be scalar. I mean, it could be referred to in many different ways. But let me just take a quick look at before we sign off at who's in. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Trump is a good businessman, and you're right. He is making deals. So we'll see how this goes. And I want to thank everyone who's been in our chat tonight. Thank you for your questions. Um, and don't forget to share and subscribe and follow. Make sure you share this video and give us a thumbs up so it'll be recommended more often.
Thumbs
So
up.
I wanted to ask you guys if you had any other last statements or messages, Mark.
Well, I just to add on to, I think that the 0 point is being actively explored. I'm not seeing hydrogen as the alternative at this point. My sense is that we're going to probably stick with a variation of petroleum. but it makes me feel like that there's another, that feels like that the idea is to take something that we deal with. I know in a sense that you can, if you separate certain parts of, say, chemicals or certain molecules, that there's what is it in hydrogen, hydrogen and oxygen. When there's, it feels like there's something that we have in a very plentiful way that is going to be reconsidered, revisited. So
Mhm.
I would not. I mean, electric cars are definitely a bridge technology. I think hydrogen is going to ultimately fail. It just doesn't feel like that there's enough acceptance. So we will see another form of energy coming, and it feels like ridiculously clean and available. These are things that Tesla did talk about, as you mentioned, 0 point. It's going to fall under that umbrella of a
Mhm.
technical advancement. Also, to this um, propulsion, it's like, how are these anti-gravity devices flying around? It feels like we're on the verge of understanding some of this,
Mhm.
if we don't already have it, and that it will become more commercial later. But
Right.
these drones, some of the odd movements, some of the things that we're being shown, I think that this is
Morphine.
going to play out
Mhm.
in a way where we something brand new. And also, too, someone wants to have a reading with me,
Yeah.
um, marknelsonmedium.com.
Here
Come
you
see me.
go, marknelsonmedium.com. This is where you go.
There
And
it
a few of our viewers tonight have put a comment in the comment that they have purchased them as gifts for people. They are a great gift idea if you know that someone is open to it. And I'll tell you, there's really nothing like getting uh, a comfort, a message from your loved one that's crossed over. It is so comforting. It really can first of all, it can help you heal. Secondly, it might give you insight, which will help you heal. And like it did tonight for Joanne, I know she needed to have resolution, on this,
is.
and everybody else that asks it does as well. So it's really worthwhile. It's a wonderful way to move forward. We do get stuck in life. We don't want to stay there. So usually Mark can hone in on something that needs work or, maybe a message from a loved one. Someone might have some advice from beyond. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. So next
Thank
week,
you.
we're not going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on Facebook. And so don't forget, I also put a message. Now, I wanted to screen share something for everybody because I wanted you to I don't know if I can do this. Let me see if I can do it. Let me get this link. Hold on. What I want to show everyone is if for some reason we cannot, um, let's see, we cannot come on the program. We can't, we have to make a schedule change. I want you to know where to go to find the message. So I'm going to screen share the page. Food for the soul. This is us. We're live right now. But right here, it says community. You see that? It says community here. This is where the messages are. This is where I post messages on if we have um, any changes in the schedule, if for some reason we have, um, you know, uh, technical difficulties and we can't live stream, the message will be here and the solution or an alternative will also be posted here as well. So don't forget to look. A lot of people don't even notice the community button. I'll be honest with you, it took me a couple of years before I even clicked on one myself. This was many years ago, but I didn't even
Oh,
realize that. But that's the case. So it's really good to a place to go to find messages if you are looking for something. And at that, I just want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight. It was a very interesting evening. Uh, and Darian. Yeah, every other week. Exactly. No, no, we're done. Oh, well, we have one last question. Can we take that, Mark?
okay. Yep.
Okay, this is Darian Ray and wants to know if you see anything worrying for him for the next, or I don't know if it's a male or female, but for the next uh several months.
Darian, if you're counting on moving forward, I see a door slammed in your face. So to me, when I see that, it makes me think that you can continue to move forward, in terms of, um, it feels I'm keep hearing work, work, work. So to me, it makes me think that if this door, this job, this financial source that you have has a bump, turn to the right and then go around it. It feels like that taking a step to the side and moving forward is will work for you. But I see a door slam. So if you see a door slam that you were expecting, that you were expecting to go through, don't be too disheartened. It also feels like that there are bigger forces than you at work here. This feels like it's, even though it feels like work, but it's not your fault. It feels like that there are other forces again in play. Don't take it personal, be versatile, be flexible, and then keep moving forward. Okay, I feel like that you have that capacity. Believe in yourself. All right, and don't accept anything like this was destined. It's not. If anything, it feels like you grow from this. Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Mark. And everyone who's joined us, thank you so much for your messages. And we have Amanda saying, regarding you earlier, uh, comment. She said she wanted to say that she's currently living in Eastern Kentucky and the people out here are extremely friendly. So, Amanda, if you really want to get on their good side, ask them to show you what ham bone is. Trust me, they will be like, you know, ham bone. So it's it's a mountain country style of music. In a funny way, ham bone. It's they have to show you what it is. That's why you need to ask them. So you'll have a great time. So everybody, you have a great night. Thank you for your questions. We'll be back next Friday on Facebook. We won't be here, but I will put a reminder in the community section. Please don't forget to look in the community section for messages and updates on our reports. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Have a great week. Be safe. And I want to thank Mark and Barb for joining us too, being here with us and answering the questions for our viewers. And we'll see you all next week. Have a
Oh,
great night. Have a good
Happy to
weekend
be
and
here
be
always.
safe.
be safe. Thanks.